Robert Heffern and Mangia.tv streaming live from the garbage dump, man. Whew. We got a little bit of time here because they're out of the cat right now. How much time I got?
I'll give you 20 minutes and then I gotta start the cat up.
All right, we got 20 minutes before they're going to start pushing garbage around here. And whoo, does it stink in here. Holy smokes. Man. All right. Happy New Year. Robert Heffern and Mangia.tv streaming live at Mangia.tv, at Social NTV, and we are on the blab.im platform. Tonight is Cooking Vamp 58. Cooking Vamp 58, the title is Kermit, You Are Wrong. All right? And how did I get to that? How did I get to Kermit, You Are Wrong? Well, Kermit says this. Kermit the Frog here. It's not easy being green. I mean, that's what he says, Kermit. He says it's not easy being green. Wrong. Let me explain. Being green, as we're going to talk about tonight, is more about being environmentally conscious, all right? And being green or living greener is all about just changing your habits. You got to change your habits to live green, to be more green. So let's talk a little bit about that. Start off. First of all, I got a welcome to the firing already going on in the chat room. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for showing up. Tom Goldsmith in the house tonight. I thought I saw Tom earlier. Thank you so much for joining. And let's talk being green and how not difficult it is, Kermit. All right, so first of all, being green. Living more environmentally conscious. All right, we've talked about this before. One of the best things that you can do is eat local and eat seasonal. All right, so obviously eating seasonal means in winter time you should be doing root vegetables, baby. I'm talking root vegetables. We're talking stews. All those good slow cooked comfort foods that warm your bones when you come in from a day maybe on the slopes or maybe a day skate skiing, cross-country skiing. I got 5 days in so far, all right? I'm trying to move more. That's a revolution of mine, to move more. So, eat local, eat seasonal. Now, eating seasonal, if you were one of those persons that stepped it up in the fall and did some canning or you did some freezing of produce, man, you're ready to go and eat seasonal now, all right? It was in season then. You did the work then. You canned it, right? You froze it. You get to eat that now. My sister does, how about this? She lives in the Northeast and obviously a strong blueberry area. Blueberries. Who doesn't love blueberries? She just goes blueberry picking, picks tons of them, spreads them on a cookie sheet, then stacks the cookie sheets, and then puts them into the freezer. All right? Right now, I guarantee you she's got 2 or 3 sheets of blueberries ready to go for the morning for the yogurt and granola. So, eating seasonal, you can eat seasonal and still enjoy things if you've done the work to can or to freeze. All right? Being green, being environmentally conscious. Another great thing to do is to ride share, all right? And if your goal was to lose some weight, how about cycling or walking to work more often, a couple days a week? That's just a great way to do it, a great way to move. Lori says the problem with her blueberries is the birds get to them before. All right, so you need to recycle the birds with a shotgun and protect those blueberries, all right? All right, so then the last thing that you can do to be more green is to recycle. All right, let's talk a little bit about that. How about recycling, man? Remember, I don't know when it first started really getting popular, 70s, 80s maybe. But now I think as a country, we do a really good job of recycling. In fact, here in Bend, our recycling curbside container is about 3 times the size as the garbage can. All right, so, we recycle paper and all your mail, obviously, and packaging, plastics. So much of the stuff is just, boom, right into the recycle container that your garbage waste is relatively small, all right? The one thing, though, that we aren't good at is recycling food and food waste that ends up in the landfill. All right, I went to endfoodwastenow.org to do a little bit of investigating on this before the Vamp. And turns out we put in about 33 million tons of food waste in the landfill every year. I mean, that is a giant, giant number, all right? And the problem is, as it decomposes, since it gets buried and just crushed, and whew, man, I mean, you can smell it right off of this heat behind me, is it decomposes anaerobically without air, and the process produces methane, which is 21 times, according to the site, 21 times more potent as a greenhouse gas than CO2. So food waste is a real big problem environmentally, all right? And here's the bigger stat, that only 3% of our food waste is recycled. And I gotta say that I would think that a major part of that is like industrial food waste that actually gets recycled into something else. For instance, brewers that make beer, they have all the grain and stuff that's done after fermentation, and they can send that to a sow or a pig operation, back to the pig, and the pigs eat it, and that's a big part of what is probably the recycled portion of the food stream. The fact is, for me, I know that I didn't recycle any of my food waste from the house. All right? So, 3% only gets done. So how do we start to dent that 33 million tons of food that ends up in the landfill? First of all, you got to get better at buying your food, all right? Buying food where it doesn't waste on the shelf, in the fridge. I mean, I think Costco maybe is one of the, great, you get to save on food, but I had to buy 10 loaves of bread, and now I just had to throw out 8 of them because they spoiled. Anyway, getting better at what you buy is for sure a great place to start. And then secondly is to be a leftover gourmet. I kind of think of myself as a leftover gourmet. You got to be able to take stuff and reuse it, bring it back to life in a different meal, in a different way. We've talked souffle. We've talked, lots of things that are easy to take and reconstitute or reinvent. And some of them are even better made as leftovers than they were at the first go around, all right? And then lastly, look at Peter Andres, welcome. What if eat things which eat greens? I like that. I, in fact, eat greens through my eating of, and actually this has been proven, that's actually a great point, that organic milk actually has the omegas in it because those cows are eating grass and no grains, and you actually get the pass-through in the milk and the butter. All right? I love that. I love the butter. Okay, so the last thing then is after you buying the proper amount of food and you become a leftover gourmet, you're still going to have food waste. All right, so what do you do with that? Well, forever people just composted. All right, now believe me, I've been around composting. All right, so I know all about it. And it's a challenge for sure in an urban setting as opposed to being out on the farm. I was just on the farm back home in the fall, and right at the sink is the compost bin. It's sitting right there, and you just keep putting stuff in it as you go through the week. And I got to tell you, sometimes it smells like the landfill behind me, that compost bucket on the countertop. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, when I was back, I actually said, Ma, have you named the 2 spiders that just came out of the compost bin? Because they were so huge, I'm sure must have named them. These big wolf spiders came out, man, scared the shit out of me. And I was like, so that's one problem with composting on the countertop too. But definitely composting is a great way to go. and then you have something that you can use in the garden for sure. But what I'm excited to talk about tonight is this a new technology, and it is called the Food Cycler. We got Martin for the first time on Blab. Let's say welcome. What's up, Martin? Happy New Year. Thank you for showing up. All right. I could use a little something to take away the smell in the dump here. All right, so the Food Cycler, what is it? Well, the Food Cycler, hold on. I got it in here. It's about the size of 2 toasters, all right? And it sits on the countertop, and it's got a hopper in it, all right? And you just have this hopper. And in the hopper, as you're going along, when you clean out the fridge or as you're cooking or whatever, you just start throwing your food waste in this thing. You know, I got celery from a couple nights ago. We got a banana peel sitting in there. Yikes. Eggshells. You know when you chop onions? How about when an onion starts to go bad? All right? It's already got some game going on it. Basically, what you do is you just keep throwing your food waste in there, all right, until you fill the puppy up. And then you turn it on, and it goes for about 3 hours, and then it cools. I mean, a whole cycle, maybe 5 or 6 hours. And what you end up with is a completely dehydrated, like reduced by up to 90% of the volume. And it's a soil amendment. Now, it's not composted. It's a soil amendment in that it has been pulverized and ground up, and all the water content is out of it, and it's neutral. It's got no bacteria. It's got no viruses. It's got no molds because of the process that it goes through. So again, you're taking all of that food waste and you're going to reduce it by about 90%, and you're going to end up with a soil amendment that you can just dig right into your vegetable garden, or you can dig it right into your flower garden, or any of the beds around the house, or you can just save it and give it to somebody that does that kind of stuff. And it's odor-free when the process is on, and I've done it. I can affirm that 100%. It's super low cost to operate. I was talking with one of the owners and designers of the company, and it's a couple of bucks a month if you ran the thing every day, which I haven't had to do while it's been in the kitchen and on the counter. And basically, man, if you eat it, it will eat it. So it's super simple. The only thing it won't take to, that it doesn't take kindly to, is corn cobs and bigger bones like beef bones and pork bones, like a ham bone, something like that. It's not going to be able to grind up. It's just gonna jam it up. But everything else that I've put in there, like chicken wings, those bones, any smaller bones, it has no problem grinding them up and completely dehydrating them, getting them ready for you to just fold right into the soil, all right? So it's called the Food Cycler. Ivy, we have a link to the to their Amazon site, and I have negotiated a code. Hey, we all love codes. Mangia 16, all right? Mangia 16 is the code. And for the next 20 days, you're going to get $100 off this unit. $100. You know, a Benjamin Franklin. You're getting a Benji off. $100 for the next 20 days, and it's only on Amazon, this deal right now, and Amazon Prime. Obviously, you get if you're a Prime member, you're going to get the $100 off, and you're going to get free shipping. I mean, who's not an Amazon Prime? I think that's one of the best memberships there is. If you do any buying online and you can get it on Amazon and get the free shipping, I mean, it's well worth the membership. All right. And how about the high-tech code, right? Mangia 16, right? Written in my penmanship. It doesn't get any better than that. All right. To the Amazon store we go. All right. So I got to ask. I'm going to ask into the chat here. Ham bone, that's right, Peter. Ham bone goes in the soup, all right? Get that split pea soup going with the ham bone. Oh, man, we need to do a vamp on split pea soup, I think. That is forget about it. I love split pea soup. Ham bone. All right, I like the way this is going. We're going right into a split pea conversation, or black bean soup with ham bone. Yeah, those bigger bones you can still use. You just can't put them in the food cycler. Food cycler. And what else do we think on the on being green, being more green, proving Kermit the Frog here, proving him wrong that it is easy being green. Again, man, it's all about habits, you know. And we were a country that threw everything in the landfill just 30 years ago. I mean, everything. And now, you know, we're much better at that. I mean, again, like I said, my curbside container, the recycling container is 3 times the size as the garbage container. And I think with the food cycler now, we're going to get down to about a half a bag of garbage a week. I'm pretty sure, because once the food waste is good, the bigger food waste is recycled down to 10% of its normal volume. So even if you just reduce it down to 10%, you know, and it goes in the landfill, it's a much better deal. But again, you got a soil amendment. Now, I got to imagine, you know, this was a week's worth, this little thing. So a month, I mean, by springtime, I'm still going to have probably less than a half-gallon pail of all this super dehydrated and ground food waste that I can just shovel right in, man. Just shovel it in. And you know the thing about that, then it's going to decompose in the soil anaerobically, so you're not going to have the methane situation. That's what I'm going to do. How do you think? Martin from Cellar Ninja says, I think it's perfect in this city. In fact, you think about, obviously, in the city, it's hard to garden or use any size composting operation. And composting is pretty intensive as far as, you know, you got to keep rotating it. You don't want it to go anaerobic. That's why you keep turning it so the air can get to everything. If it goes anaerobic, it stinks really bad, man, really bad. But this thing will just sit on your countertop. It's, like I said, it's about the size of 2 toasters. Hold on. That's it. And the nice thing too is that can sit on the counter, or it could sit. And the bucket can just sit on the sink side, and as that fills up, or you could even run it every day with your food waste, and it just drops right back in. All right. Super, super simple and easy and effective way to recycle your food waste. Yeah, and like I said, I spoke with them, and you can check out some of the YouTube videos, but the electricity draw on this thing is so minimal that even if you ran it every day, you're only looking at a couple $3 a month maybe to on the energy side of it. So, but I don't even think that's necessary. It's just as it feels, especially, when you do a lot of cooking and you do a lot of trimming, you end up with all the onion waste and, potatoes if you've cut in bad spots out of it. And how many different things do you cut up? And also waste from the plate, stuff that people don't eat. Now, you don't want to put like soup in there, obviously, but you can drain the liquid off and put the rest of it in, all right? Now, you don't want to put liquids into it necessarily, but I mean, liquid on food waste is fine. Just drain the liquid off, let it go down the drain. Again, the code is Mangia 16. It gets you $100 off. That's as cheap as you'll find this unit anywhere in the interweb on that Amazon link. And if you're a Prime member, you're going to get free shipping, and you can start being greener than Kermit the Frog. All right, Ivy, there it is. There's the link from Ivy. Only one left, Tom is saying. Well, we're going to sell that one. Believe me, there's more. There's more. And speaking of recycling, I'm enjoying a nice glass of wine this evening in the Kerr self-sealing mason jar. Cheers. Happy New Year. Hey, do yourself a favor and cook somebody a meal, all right? And do the whole planet a favor and take that food waste and recycle it. What else? Anything else? That's right, Lori. That's right. I need to thank the great folks at Rat Hole Brewery for hosting last week. I'm going to be back next week for Cooking Vamp 59 in the kitchen with Alejandro at Rat Hole Brewery, seeing if I can't interrupt, disrupt, but also get some cooking techniques and tips from Alejandro at Rat Hole Brewery in Bend, Oregon. I always have to thank Cellar Angels, and if you're going to buy wine, please use Mangia wine on the code, and Cellar Angels is going to help you with the shipping on that. If you're in Chicago, go to Chicago Helicopter Experience. Take a tour of the city. You know, I think the city lights are still up. They still have the lights up. You can do a holiday lights tour. You can use Mangia in the code for them. And that's going to get you $10 off your tour. I think that's all I got here today. Super excited, though. Super excited for 2016 and what we got on the docket. We got Allison, a taste of therapy. She's your cooking therapist. She's going to start with the introductory cooking therapy vamp. I'm not sure if she's calling it a vamp, but it's going to be a segment on Mangia TV, and she's going to be running them 2 Thursdays a month, starting at the end of the month. And we also have my sister Laura, who is a master gardener, so she knows a thing or two about soil amendments. And she's going to do a monthly gardening vamp and talk all things gardening. I know she's preparing one right now, talking seed catalogs. You know, it's amazing. It's just January starting, but you already got to start thinking about that spring garden, man, because it won't be long. It won't be long. What else do we got going? Absolutely, Martin. She's got killer skills in the garden. I'm going to make it into the valley and start interviewing some folks over there in the new year and in January here. Hopefully, I'm going to drop down to LA and do a vamp or just a Flatlander episode in LA in January. So I got a lot of stuff cooking, man. A lot of stuff cooking. Back to the hashtags. I forgot to bring them into the vamp. Today was a perfect opportunity to hashtag a few things. Hashtagging, we're going to hashtag be a better food recycler, hashtag let that simmer. All right? What was our other hashtag? Let that simmer and chew on this. Right? Hashtag chew on that. Hashtag chew on that. We can all get better at food recycling. Seeing as only 3% of our food waste ends up in the landfill, you know, I think we can all get better at it. All right? Hashtag chew on that. All right. You guys have a great week. Happy New Year. We're hitting the ground running here. Listen, if you are in a recycling mood, please purchase one of their food cyclers and get $100 off with Mangia 16. Also, please share the link. Ivy supplied the link and the code. Feel free to share it amongst your family and friends, foodies that you have, or people that are into that type of thing. And let's move a bunch of these off the shelf, all right? You guys have a great week. We will see you next week on Cooking Vamp 59 with Alejandro at Rat Hole Brewery in Bend, Oregon. Thanks so much for showing up. Ciao. You guys have a great week. Cook somebody a meal. Take care of each other. We'll see you next week. Whew. All right, you can fire up the cat now.